Welcome to A to Zephyr with Ryan Nauman from Zephyr. In this podcast, we help wealth managers, financial advisors, and asset managers overcome challenges in creating meaningful investor relationship experiences. We do this by introducing innovations driven by Zephyr's cutting-edge technology and global financial insights. Join us for this journey where we dive into pioneering wealth management strategies as Zephyr draws from decades of experience and guest financial wizards to address the nuances of investment management.
Hello, and welcome to the A to Zephyr podcast with your host, Ryan Nauman. Ryan, it's good to be with you again, but let me jump in here first before we get started and remind people that for those of us who are joining us for the first time and may not know the benefits, Zephyr offers an amazing product suite within the wealth management industry. It offers an incredible investment management software used by financial advisors, wealth managers, asset managers, financial analysts, RIAs, and trust advisors. And this podcast addresses the many ways that your peers in the industry use it. How? Well, Zephyr allows its customers to optimize portfolios, identify risk tolerance, ensure compliance, evaluate performance, and it also lets you generate proposals and more. 100% of customers generate custom document proposals, re-proposals, and fact sheets to communicate with their clients and turn those prospects, most importantly, into clients. All right, we're going to get into this podcast. And Ryan, it's good to see you again, but we got a new guy with us. So let me introduce everybody. Ryan Nauman. He is the market strategist for Zephyr. As usual, Randy Jones is here. He's director of product management for Zephyr. And the new guy, Damian Fahy, is the senior product manager with Zephyr. Guys, all of you, welcome. Good to see y'all.
Thanks for having us on again, Bill. It's a pleasure and an honor that you keep having us on each time and inviting us back.
Well, I'm just amazed that anybody would tolerate me for this long. So, I mean, I'm happy to be here. Trust me, it's a good thing. Damian, I've got to start with you, folks, the new voice on the podcast today. And I want you to tell us how the performance reporting enhances the client experience and hopefully results in stronger client relationships. Welcome, Damian. Good to have you. And the floor is yours.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, any relationship is based on trust and communication, and
right.
A good business relationship is no different. So if the client does not trust their wealth manager, or they think they're not telling them the whole story or giving them the full picture, then they're not going to be happy and they may look elsewhere. So with Zephyr, we let wealth managers present a full, clearer picture of the client's portfolio. It's not just about how much money they made, but it shows them a much broader picture of their portfolio as a whole. How is it made up? What segments are in the portfolio? How are each segment or asset class performing? You can review risk and basically check that you're on track to meet the goals or the client's goals. So it allows you as the advisor to have a broader conversation and present to the client a full picture of how you are helping them succeed and meet their goals.
So it lets the advisor give the client a more transparent look at what's happening with their money, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You're giving them the full picture, and transparency is very important.
Yeah, no kidding. In fact, Ryan, this is kind of an obvious question coming off that answer, but what role does performance reporting play in wealth management, and what is the importance of implementing performance reporting software?
Bill, I think you're exactly right. And what Damian said, it does seem like an obvious question, but really it's twofold. Performance reporting is, obviously vital to a wealth management practice as it shows the client the performance of the portfolios, which is obviously very important. The client wants to know what you're doing for them, how are you performing, and so on. But secondly, it also gives the wealth manager the ability to gain a better understanding of the performance of the portfolio that the manager is managing. For example, It gives the manager a better understanding of what contributed to the portfolio performance and at the same time, what took away from performance, what didn't work. It gives the manager a better understanding of that performance through different lenses. Measuring portfolio performance isn't just assessing returns. It also involves assessing risk-adjusted returns, analyzing asset class performance, and ensuring portfolio alignment with client objectives. So through what Damian said, through a more holistic examination, investors gain a more accurate view of financial performance, and that additional detail gives the manager more insights into what changes need to be made to the portfolio in a timely and efficient manner in order to meet those objectives of the clients.
Yeah, so the clients can see what's there and know that it is a custom created portfolio that they can make adjustments to, right?
Yeah, you're exactly correct. And without that details and that holistic view of the performance and being able to look under the hood, you kind of run blind a little bit and not sure as a portfolio manager or a wealth manager what changes need to be made. How can we make the returns better? How can we align those returns and the performance more with the client objectives in achieving their goals? So without that deep dive into the performance and what's contributing to it, it's hard to make those changes.
Damian, so what are some of the ways that Zephyr helps wealth managers enhance the client experience through performance reporting?
Yeah, well, Zephyr has multiple ways that a manager can view performance. First of all, there's whether you want to look at online user-friendly dashboards that are online on the Zephyr website, or whether you actually want to produce a report. And it doesn't just show you performance. As I said, it shows you performance against the benchmark. It shows you the allocation of your portfolio, holdings, risk, and attribution. You can go into a lot of detail, as much detail as you want to go into, or you can keep it at a summary level. All the reports most of our reports are auto-generated. So they're automatically there, available to the client or to the manager. They can go onto the site and look at the report. The manager doesn't have to build the report each month. Maybe the client has cooked, but we do have the ability to create custom reports as needed, or ad hoc reports as needed. And that's probably the strength of Zephyr. So let's say a client has called you and asked a specific question about a portfolio you may not normally include in your report. Well, with Zephyr now, you can go in and create a special report, piece of information to the report that you may not normally include. You can also include market commentary, upload third-party information. You can add other information to that report and share it with the clients. It basically allows you to customize the information so you can craft the message that you want to tell to your client.
Right. And give them the information that they probably are hungry to hear about, as a matter of fact. Let's bring Randy. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Damian, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's both the information and the customized view of that information.
Yeah. Randy, let's get you in the conversation. You've been sitting over there in the corner, not saying very much here. Zephyr is an investment management platform, and we know that, right? It encompasses a phrase I'm not really familiar with, the investment management life cycle. So first of all, you're going to have to explain that one to me, Randy. And what does performance reporting, who does performance reporting fit into Zephyr's workflow?
Well, it's great to be back, Bill. So we have what we consider like the investment management continuum, we call it, which is basically the life cycle. We've talked on previous podcasts, where it all starts is data. We've touched upon that as a topic. Then we have if I'm an advisor and I have a prospect, the first touch point is the proposal process, which we covered. Then we have a comprehensive research component in the life cycle. Then portfolio construction and asset allocation modeling, screening, ongoing monitoring, and then the key component at the end is the performance reporting. Right. That is a huge component of the actual life cycle, and that's the last touch point. So if as an advisor, I've done everything, well in between, and I've added enough value that the prospect hires me, well, now the performance reporting is really key to the engagement, as Damian mentioned earlier, from trust. But there's a full life cycle of workflow that our clients employ. Some, like mentioned, that we've talked about in previous podcasts. But the good thing is, once you're hired, the performance report is really the key to the engagement going forward. And then, as Damian mentioned, as with other components of the life cycle, we have multiple ways to present the performance data.
Right.
But if all goes well, that's the end result. And the last touch point going forward will be that performance reporting.
Oh, okay. So, Damian, what are some of the ways that Zephyr makes the performance reporting process efficient without compromising the all-important accuracy?
Well, we get the data directly from the custodian or your accounting system. So we get the data from the source. And so the data is much more accurate. We put it through a process that we have, which is designed to identify data issues, any integrity issues of that data. And we do this for you. So the manager doesn't have to do this. We do it for you. Our system is full of checks and balances. And as we process that data, it identifies where there may be issues. It might be missing or bad price. It might be a missing transaction. Maybe it's a mishandled corporate action. The system can, in some cases, address those, fix those for us. But if needed, the final check is that we have a team of analysts who will actually review that and rectify the issue. So all of this ensures that the information is as accurate as possible. You know what they say about data processing? Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, we remove the garbage going in, so that hopefully there's no garbage coming out. And
well, I don't know. There's no garbage in the process. There ain't no garbage coming out of it. That's for sure.
Right.
Randy, what are some of the considerations that wealth managers should make when putting together a comprehensive performance report?
Again, it's the personalization of the client. So one would be sophistication level. So if you have a prospect or a client that aren't very astute with investing, you can create something that's a little more simplistic, but still provide the value that you're adding. On the other side, you may have ultra high net worth clients or institutions that may require a 50 or 60 page piece and really dig into the details as you go. So fortunately, with our process that Damian talked about, we can address that personalization, but it really is a sophistication level of not going overboard with folks who aren't as astute at investing versus ultra high net worth and institutions that are very dialed in and may want to have a more complex report on that basis. The other is age. The older clients, the boomers, the patriarchs, matriarchs, the way the report is structured, maybe a PDF, not very complex. Whereas the younger generations now and the next, the younger investors want their data when they want it, how they want it, where they want it. So age has become a big component of how an advisor may structure their report, or more importantly with Zephyr, where we have a very dynamic module that may not even include a report. It's just dynamically going through the content, and that may appeal more to the younger generations. So really the sophistication level and the age are the two main inputs on how a report might be structured. But then it all comes down to the personalizing and customizing to the particular prospect or client. That is the key. And again, Zephyr provides multiple ways that our clients can present that, either in a report or dynamically. But yeah, it's really understanding the client from multiple perspectives. But I think the two biggest ones that I see are the sophistication level of the recipient and now the age.
Yeah. I mean, just speaking as someone's potential client, I like the idea that my report's not going to sound like that guy who was in front of me or the person coming in behind me sounds. That's what I find appealing about this, right? Ryan, I'm going to turn to you with some final thoughts on the important and critical role that performance reporting plays in the wealth management life cycle. The floor is yours, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Like what Damian and Randy said, it's obvious, the important role it plays. But I think, when you talk about that life cycle that Randy talked about, sometimes, everyone is so focused on maybe the financial plan, achieving goals, finding the perfect investment or creating that investment portfolio. Sometimes portfolio performance may not be at the top of mind, but it should be, because that performance reporting, it's critical for wealth managers, asset managers, and financial advisors in growing not only client relationships, but also their returns. That portfolio performance reporting process is simplified by Zephyr. Portfolio performance reporting software like Zephyr is emerging as a tremendous asset and a required asset to financial professionals. It enables them to streamline client portfolio analysis, assessment, and reporting. Its functionalities range from comprehensive performance measurement and attribution to tracking investment returns over various periods. All very important items, and these in-depth insights create more clarity for clients and the ability for those managers to expedite the investment decision-making process, which, as we know, is very important because markets move quicker than ever. So you need to be able to take that data in, analyze it, and make decisions quickly. And that's what Zephyr allows you to do.
No, we live in an age where financial markets are instantaneous. I mean, it's astounding. As somebody who grew up reading stocks in the newspaper, which sounds like some kind of ancient story at this point. Now I log onto my computer, I can get real-time charts on all kinds of things. So this is appealing that you're giving an advisor a really dynamic tool to engage very specifically with their clients.
Point you made earlier, when you think about shouldn't have the same report as the guy behind you.
Right.
The other big key is that once you've gone through this workflow or life cycle, you don't just walk away, right? In industries where you sell something, achieve something, and then it kind of ends. The performance reporting is ongoing, and it really is the connection going forward with the advisor and their client. It's also a way to grow the business from, referral, and how that process, again, is the report itself tailored to that client specifically so that they get excited and then they can sell that to, potential future business. So it isn't like you've gone through all this as an advisor. Maybe some do where that's the end of the engagement where, you're on board. Performance reporting is the connection from there forward to keeping that client and potentially getting referrals to even grow their business even bigger. It's so important in the process.
I think that there's another part of Zephyr that can help as the manager too.
Yeah.
Certainly on a one-off, on a client-by-client basis, we do allow that customization of the report. But as a manager, you've got more than one client. You've got multiple clients. And so we can make that efficient for you. We have business intelligence tools built into Zephyr. So you don't just have to look at one portfolio at a time. You can look at all the portfolios that you manage. You filter on certain criteria to identify certain types, certain objectives. Look at all your growth accounts, all your moderate conservative accounts. And those tools can help you run the business as a whole. Because generally speaking, we want you to focus on the clients, and we give you the tools to make it more efficient so that you can do less time number crunching and more time with client.
Well, no. And look, speaking as a person who is a client of a financial advisor, the thing I hate when I go in to sit down and I talk with financial advisors is for them to say, when I ask them about portfolios, I get like a pattern conditioned response, right? And I feel like, this advisor's got one answer for, the moderate growth and one answer for the aggressive growth and one answer for the conservative growth. And I want to have a more dynamic conversation with people, with the advisor. I want to say, what if I incorporated this, or what if I did that? And the thing that appeals to me every time we talk about Zephyr is that this is what Zephyr, in fact, straight up offers.
Well, Damian's point,
Bill, I think
yet having the efficiencies to allow the advisor or our client to spend more time on the engagement and less time in the weeds putting the story together.
Yeah, Bill, and what I would recommend in that situation is you should just go into your financial advisor and say, you need to invest in Zephyr. You need to get Zephyr so then you can take that next step in the analytics to completely tell your story and how your story is different than the person behind you, the person to the side, and adjust it to make it fit your needs.
This is an intensely competitive environment. It always has been. But there's a big transfer of wealth that is going on, and it is money moving from older generations down to younger generations. And that's all. I think 72 trillion is the number that I read at one point. That's a lot of money that financial advisors need to compete for. They don't just get it. There are going to be people walking in going, Hey, Randy, what can you do for me? Hey, Ryan, how can you make my money do this? And it's just every time I have this conversation with you guys, I keep thinking Zephyr is really, honestly, a straight up tool for them as an answer for addressing people like me who are saying, hey, look, I've got money. What do I do with it? Can you guide me with it? Or do I just go off and do it by myself?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Bill. And Zephyr is that tool that can really bridge that transfer from, the older generations who they're used to getting a PDF, meeting with their client or meeting with their advisor quarterly, to the new younger generation who wants data on demand. And like Randy said, when they get it, they don't want to wait quarterly. They want it on their phone, maybe not in person. And that's the type of stuff, that quick data information, that Zephyr can provide.
That's excellent. So if there are any financial advisors who are listening to this podcast thinking they need to have a conversation with somebody at Zephyr, who do they reach out to, or how do they get a hold of y'all, Randy or Ryan? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Bill, start by our website, which is zephyrfinancialsolutions.com. We're also very active on LinkedIn, which is under Zephyr. Great resource there on LinkedIn. You can also call us on that thing called a phone, which is 1-800-789-5323. And then also email. We have a Zephyr info@informa.com. You can also reach out to me, ryan.nauman@informa.com, and I can get you in the right person to help answer your questions if I can't. So a lot of different ways to get a hold of us.
Yeah, no, and I would encourage financial advisors who are looking for some kind of advantage, some kind of leg up, some kind of leverage in this market, to make a presentation to clients and say, this is how I look different. This is how I can make a difference in your portfolio. This is what we can do for you that others can't, that they reach out to you, as a matter of fact, Ryan, and say, hey, tell me about this. I think it's a great idea. For those of you who are listening to the podcast but are not subscribers, just hit the subscribe button. That way you will be a subscriber. You can listen to new editions of this podcast, but you can also go back and listen to old editions of this podcast, because we've had a number of different conversations, as Randy referenced in the course of this podcast. There's a lot of information out there that you can just go and inform yourself about before you make any phone contact, before you make any email contact. But I would encourage you to do that. Until next time, on behalf of everybody at Zephyr, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen today. And I think this is a good point to remind you that you can go out today and make today a great day or not. Clearly, you do have a choice. Thanks for taking the time to listen today. I'm Bill Tucker. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to A to Zephyr. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available, and be sure to check today's show notes on how you can get in touch with us. Once again, thank you for listening. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Zephyr. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.